In Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution, the framers gave the states the power to propose amendments at a convention. They did so unanimously as a solution to problems they foresaw: an oppressive federal government, including a power-abusing Congress. Today, these problems are here. Our governing system is broken. Convention of States is a nationwide grassroots organization dedicated to the use of this Article 5 Convention power by the states and by we the people. This is the solution as big as the problem. The historical record contains direct quotes from several of our most revered founding fathers and later statesmen, whereby they clearly advocated for using the Article 5 Convention for proposing amendments.
George Washington, father of his country and our first president, advocated for the use of the Article 5 Convention process on at least 3 known occasions. In his letter to Bushrod Washington, eventual Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, on November 9, 1787, Washington wrote, quote, "The warmest friends and best supporters the Constitution has do not contend that it is free from imperfections, but they found them unavoidable, and are sensible if evil is likely to arise therefrom. That the remedy must come hereafter, for in the present moment it is not to be obtained."
And as there is a constitutional door open for it, I think the people, for it is with them to judge, can, as they will have the advantage of experience on their side, decide with as much propriety on alterations and amendments which are necessary as ourselves. I do not think we are more inspired, have more wisdom, or possess more virtue than those who come after us.
In his letter to former Continental Congress delegate John Armstrong on April 25, 1788, George Washington wrote, quote, "It should be remembered that a constitutional door is open for such amendments as shall be thought necessary by 9 2/3 of the states."
In his farewell address in 1796, George Washington said, quote, "If, in the opinion of the people, the distribution or modification of constitutional powers be in any particular wrong, let it be corrected by an amendment in the way in which the Constitution designates."
Colonel George Mason, delegate from Virginia to the U.S. Constitutional Convention and father of the Bill of Rights, enlightened his fellow delegates of the critical need to include the Article 5 Convention in the Constitution. In the Constitutional Convention, as documented in James Madison's notes of the debates on June 11, 1787, Colonel Mason said, quote, "It would be improper to require the consent of the national legislature because they may abuse their power and refuse consent."
From James Madison's notes of the debates in the Constitutional Convention on September 15, 1787. Quote, "Colonel George Mason thought the plan of amending the Constitution exceptionable and dangerous, as the proposing of amendments is in both modes to depend, in the first immediately, in the second ultimately, on Congress. No amendments of the proper kind would ever be obtained by the people if the government should become oppressive, as he verily believed would be the case."
James Madison, founding father, father of the Constitution, and 4th U.S. President, advocated for using the Article 5 Convention process on at least 2 known occasions. In Federalist 43 of the Federalist Papers, published on January 23, 1788, Madison wrote, quote, "It, moreover, equally enables the general and the state governments to originate the amendment of errors, as they may be pointed out by experience on one side or on the other."
In Federalist 85, the last of the Federalist Papers, Alexander Hamilton wrote, quote, "The national rulers, whenever 9 states concur, will have no option upon the subject. By the 5th article of the plan, the Congress will be obliged, on the application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the states, which at present amount to 9, to call a convention for proposing amendments, which shall be valid to all intents and purposes. The words of this article are peremptory. The Congress shall call a convention. Nothing in this particular is left to the discretion of that body. We may safely rely on the disposition of the state legislatures to erect barriers against the encroachments of the national authority.
In his letter to Supreme Court Justice William Johnson, June 12, 1823, Thomas Jefferson wrote, and I quote, "The ultimate arbiter is the people of the Union assembled by their deputies in convention at the call of Congress or of 2/3 of the states. Let them decide to which they mean to give an authority claimed by 2 of their organs. And it has been the peculiar wisdom and felicity of our Constitution to have provided this peaceable appeal where that of other nations is at once to force."
In a letter to U.S. Representative Edward Everett, August 28, 1830, James Madison wrote, quote, "Should the provisions of the Constitution as here reviewed be found not to secure government and the rights of the states against usurpations and abuses on the part of the United States, the final resort within the purview of the Constitution lies in an amendment of the Constitution, according to a process applicable by the states."
President Abraham Lincoln, in his first inaugural address on March 4, 1861, said, quote, "This country, with its institutions, belongs to the people who inhabit it. Whenever they shall grow weary of the existing government, they can exercise their constitutional right of amending it. While I make no recommendation of amendments, I fully recognize the rightful authority of the people over the whole subject, to be exercised in either of the modes prescribed in the instrument itself. And I should, under existing circumstances, favor rather than oppose a fair opportunity being afforded the people to act upon it. I will venture to add that to me, the convention mode seems preferable in that it allows amendments to originate with the people themselves, instead of only permitting them to accept or reject propositions originated by others, not especially chosen for the purpose, and which may not be precisely such as they would wish to either accept or refuse."
In his commencement address at Defiant College, Ohio, 1963, former President Dwight Eisenhower said, and quote, "Through their state legislatures and without regard to the federal government, the people can demand a convention to propose amendments that can and will reverse any trends they see as fatal to true representative government."
In his radio address on February 13, 1979, then California Governor Ronald Reagan said, quote, "The Constitution provides for both methods, and the Convention is a safety valve giving the people a chance to act if Congress refuses to do so."
Ladies and gentlemen, as you've seen throughout this video, the framers of the Constitution provided us with Article 5 as the tool to fight back against an out-of-control federal government. Until now, Article 5 has laid dormant, waiting for the right opportunity to be used. Thankfully, Convention of States, with its resolution to impose fiscal restraints on the federal government, reduce the size and scope of the federal government, and place term limits on all federal officials, members of Congress, and judges, provides the solution to the problems that currently faces our country. So, we would like for you to join us and become a member of the COS New Jersey family by signing up at conventionofstates.com. Click on the Take Action tab located at the top of the homepage and become a volunteer on our team. We've been making a lot of progress here in New Jersey, and we would like for you to join us. Thank you so much for watching this video. May God bless you, may God bless Convention of States, and may God always bless the United States of America.
Go to conventionofstates.com, press the button, sign the petition. More importantly, get 10 of your friends to do the same. When you sign the petition, then that sends a letter to your state legislator. You go on the list in their district as a supporter. We deliver those lists to the state legislators. It means something to them.